Gon' vote. Everybody gon' vote. Everybody gon' vote. Everybody gon' vote. Comrade! Labor right, them a go down, bong. Them a go down, bong. Them a go down. Is that? Margie, him a God picking. No hope their work if you touch Margie. Margie, him a God picking. No hope their work if you touch Margie. We now vote for Labour. Orange we a come out in now. If you love the PNP, who no step out for Marky G. Jamaica just come along with we. People time come, people time come, people time is up.
Only thing that's on my mind is who's gonna run this town tonight.
Yeah, I say that we are. Pledge your allegiance.
Who's gonna run this town tonight?
Yeah, I say that we
We gonna run this town.
Make the trumpets play. Make the trumpets play.
The leader of the opposition know his constitution laws better than the prime minister of the country, JLP.
Leader and the prime minister, right? You know, I have seen where Mark Golding learn about the constitution laws of Jamaica more better than the prime minister. I don't think the prime minister even know much about the constitution laws of Jamaica, right? So right now, me sit down and me look at it and me say, watch out. You know, say, if me go give a man my vote in an election, me would have rather forgive to a man like Mark Golding who know much about the constitution laws of the country than give it to another man who don't know much about the law. Because more likely, the man when don't know about the laws of the country, right? More likely you're going to always in a problem with him. Because him going to do a lot of things based on how him feel and not doing it according to the laws of the constitution. Right? So therefore, at the end of the day, whatever he's doing, more likely him will violate my right as a citizen of Jamaica. Right? If you give a man your vote who knows well about the constitution of your country where you live, more likely, when he's making law, more likely the laws that he is making from the constitution will make better sense because he know exactly what he's doing, right? Because me can't get a prime minister, right? And you just violate my rights and make me feel like, say, boy, whatever you do, I grant me a favor, right? Many of the things that the prime minister of your country supposed to do for you as a person, you know. And them grant you no favor, you know. When a man come and patch some road, when you have a broke sewage and them come and fix it, them not grant you no favor, you know. Alright? Section 13 of the Constitution, it tell you, right, as a people, right, you're entitled, right, for a clean and healthy environment, you know. Right? For a healthy environment. Right? Many of the time you get up at your neighbor burn all fire and you call all police them pay you no mind. Right? Burning a fire, one whole heap of things are going around you. Building a makeup and dust upon your... Right? You have whole heap of violation from day to day that make the people of this country feel as if that they are not trying. And there is nothing put in place for people to learn to respect each others. Right? So, enough of the rights in this country has been violated because 3/4 of Jamaican people do not know their constitution rights. So therefore, you have to get somebody who know your constitution rights and know what you deserve as a person, right? That they can put it in place, right? With better penalty, with stiffer penalty in order for people to learn to respect each other, right? You know, many of the time as me say fire burn, your neighbor them just get up light fire and they're no business, right?
Let me assure you that we are going to assist those persons who have been displaced by the fire. We're going to try and do it as quickly as possible. But it is not something that can happen overnight. Before we can assist in any meaningful way other than the humanitarian assistance, which is already in train, the building assistance, we have to determine the ownership of the land. That's number one. And then we have to do some social investigation into the circumstances of the persons to determine the extent to which we can help. All of that we are going to put into train to ensure that we can help the persons dislocated to come back to some form of normalcy.
If them not have no title for them yard, they still can't
very good question. That we cannot build on property that we don't know who own it. We can't just go onto people's property and build. So we have to establish ownership. Once ownership is established, then we can determine what we can do, whether it is to replace a building or to give a grant. Now, for those persons who are living on property that they don't own or don't have the title to, then we still will help, but we will help you maybe with building material or some other form of assistance. But we cannot build on land that is not our land, or we don't have the rights to build on it. That's just the reality of the situation. So I understand from the Member of Parliament that the land situation is being assessed, that they do have titles and permission. And so for those that they don't have the title, or they know who the owners are, then we will seek to get permission from the owners to build. But the first thing is to establish who owns the land so that the government itself is not violating people's property rights by going on to people's land and doing whatever we choose. So that's not how we operate. All right, so anyway, thank you very much. Thank you for the welcome, and we'll do as much as we can very quickly. All right?
Within our first 100 days of government, we will start the legislative process to fix the date for general elections in Jamaica. So no government will be able to come and make false promises and hide the truth and tell you half-truths and trick you into voting for them, and then when them win, them throw on poison for you.
100 days to fix election date, still I wait for the promise to fulfill. One broken promise after another. Laughable, as we say, none of your promise not fulfill yet, bossy. So there you wait.
Within the first 100 days of our government, we will start the legislative process to institute impeachment proceedings in Parliament. This will add another layer of protection of the Parliament to ensure that only members of unquestioned integrity sit in the Parliament.
So and I'm just touching quickly on those things. I mean, there's a lot. I could speak on every area if I needed to, agriculture and many other things. But essentially, we have a very difficult task ahead of us. Yeah. But if Jamaica doesn't get a change of government now, I don't know what kind of state we're going to be. You know, because we have a corrupt government and a power-hungry government, and they're supported by the elite, and the media is bought out by them too. So it's not an easy road to trod the road that we are treading, comrades. It is not going to be easy to get them out, because you know the news, the things that we put out don't get covered. You know, even today, there's a poll being run right now. It's independent. I think it was paid for by some business people. A Don Anderson poll. The key metric in any poll is voter intention. Who do you intend to vote for? That's the key metric. Today they published it on a Saturday, which is the lowest sales of any newspaper day. When it shows that the PMP is 5% ahead. You know, we were at 9 at the end of September, so we have come off a bit. The Labour Party hasn't got any of that. They are where they were. It's undecided that have grown. In the meantime, they have had their conference, they have had the Spark program, they've had the Reserve Income Tax Credit, which is essentially a $20,000 grant to over 300,000 people. They've just been spending money to try and get themselves back to where they were. And we have been a bit cautious in putting out our ideas because we have found on multiple occasions that they tend to be appropriated by the Labour Party. And then they're so powerful in the media and their communications is so strong, it's very difficult for us to set the narrative to show that we were really the originators of that idea. And so we are trying to time our release so that we don't suffer from that. But in the meantime, we have held our own in the polls, and I think when we start to now reveal what we intend to do for the people, we will see the growth. I'm glad that you mentioned contract work. No, it was Sophia. The contract work issue is a big issue in Jamaica. Yes. You know, where a lot of our employees are working for years on short-term contracts with no job security, and the benefits that Michael Manley fought for and introduced are being deprived from them. And of course, wages in the tourism sector was also mentioned, and we had a series of strikes in the last quarter of last year by hotel workers who are not unionized because of those very issues. And you know, we have been advocating for a joint industrial council for the tourism industry, where the workers and the employers and the government sit in a joint meeting and hammer out a basic set of minimum standards of terms of employment like we have in the construction industry in Jamaica. And the security guards need it too, where there are masses of employees and no representation. And as a result, you get very oppressive conditions prevailing. So these are some of the things that we need to do in the spirit of the liberators in this room. God bless you all. Thank you for having us. And the word is love.
There's a QR code that circulates where you can make a deposit. Yes, we have some QR codes here. Also, guys,
today I want to talk to you about the importance of getting enumerated. Now, imagine looking around your constituency, your community, and identifying things that you want changed, but you don't have a say in making those changes. If you get registered to vote today or before March 31st, you'll become eligible to vote by May 31st. So I want to implore you to get on the voters list, get registered so that you can have a meaningful say in the changes that are effected in your constituency.
I practice my ex. Because I want to make sure that my part don't spoil this election day. Long time them labor right there for gone, you know. Them two one caring, man. Make sure that I mark the ex right there, so. Because I don't want the ballot spoil. See that ex, yeah? For the teacher, them wanna get them pay. You see that ex, yeah? And for the people them want dead on hospital bench because they never have no bed. You see that ex, yeah? And for the police them want work overtime and can't get them overtime pay. Yeah, man. See that ex, yeah? And for the big salary what the politician them give themselves, and I can't get little salary to the people them. That ex right now, yeah. For the nurse them. They nurse them. Or if you are working long hours and can't get no pay, if you go foreign if you try to survive. You see, oh man, that ex, yeah? This is because that time they didn't take the bulldozer and mash up the house them out of Clifton. You see that ex, yeah? And the arrogance and the dictatorship where they try to run the country under. You see one there right there, so I feel all of the disrespect what they want to come give Jamaican. I make sure I mark my ex properly. Time come for a change. Time come for a better Jamaica.